Fatlinda Struga. I am an architect and urban planner, and I have worked for approximately 25 years in the National Planning Institute, and I have an experience in the municipality of Tirana for 3 years. I have worked there for the general plan of the city of Tirana and the methodology of detailed plan in the municipality of Tirana. And now I am as a professor in the Tirana University. It's a pleasure for me to take part in this activity. And now I am starting with what I have prepared for the city of Lezha. So this is the map of the municipality of Lezha, and this map is part of the general regulation plan of the city of Lezha. And the aim of us is to represent the territorial feature of the city. With yellow is the residential zone, and around the residential zone are economic zone and industrial zone and agricultural zone in green. An important feature of the city of Lezha are road access and railway, the main road and railways, as is another important element for industrial development and sometimes for residential development. The terrain, the morphology of terrain is in the direction of the sea, or in the west side is a flat one, and in the east side is the hill terrain, and the hill terrain is a boundary for the city development. In the center of the city, here is the boundary of hill. And in this direction, the terrain is more flat, and here is the sea. And this is a main road, national road, and here is a railway. A railway usually function for material, not for the people, for passengers. Okay. Yes. There are natural resorts because we have here a hillside, and here is a park and natural green zones, and here is the beach, and here is the agricultural land. And you know, I have explained later that the agriculture is one of the most important elements of the economy of the city of Lezha. And the industrial zone are here, and some of them are existing and some of them are proposed by the regulation plan, and another industrial zone is here. This is approved by the government, but not in function till now. Some other economic elements are in the city, for example, here, or in small surfaces, but in compact surfaces, economic and industrial zones are in this position. With the yellow is residential zone. Residential zone is a part of it is formal and a part is informal. Usually this which is combined with the agricultural land is informal in general. Sometimes it's are villages and sometimes it's illegal buildings. But as we see, we don't have an exact boundary. We have building new of the residential in the agricultural land here. Here we have the housing typology. You have in your mind, here is the residential zone of the city of Lezha, and here is the center of the city. This is the zone, residential zone built by individual dwelling, 1, 2, or 3 floors. And here is a zone which is with high buildings and collective houses. And here is a zone has been as a park and continues to have a lot of natural green spaces in this area. And and in these zones there are some small buildings, usually villas, but with low density. Here the density is not high because of the typology of the building. Here are small buildings, as I mentioned, 1 or 2 and sometimes 3 floors. And here are high buildings, 4, 5, and sometimes 8 or more than 8 floors. And the density of population in this zone is higher because of the typology of the buildings. And here in this zone, there are more people, more buildings, and more activities, but not as much as the people maybe needs. Vacant space. Vacant space are located mainly in the residential area with collective buildings. So we have seen around the city of Lezha to find the vacant space in the existing old or new buildings, and we can find that the vacant space are usually and most in the residential building with high floors. And this vacant space are usually in the ground floor or sometimes in the second floor of the collective buildings, and the other floors are apartments. Then this vacant space we can find this in the main road and sometimes inside the neighborhoods, so in the zones inside or the secondary roads of the city or inside the neighborhoods. Why the space are vacant? I explained that the vacant space usually are in the zones which are built by the high buildings. And usually people in Albania don't like to live in the first floor of the buildings. And most of the construction company and architect design the buildings with no apartments in the first floor. And so most of the buildings, or I can say sometimes all the buildings, has space for not for living in the first and sometimes in the second floor. Usually they foreseen non-residential surfaces in the first floor of the building, but sometimes in the time that in the cases when the building are in the main roads, they foreseen 2 floors that can be as a shops or other activities, not as a residential uses. And but the requests to use these spaces are not sometimes as much as these spaces are. So a lot of these spaces are not occupied. But another case is that people cannot find what to do with these spaces. So the owners or sometimes the people who rent these spaces try one activity and see that after some time, 1, 2, or 3 months, that this activity is not a good choice for the community, and so they try something else. And so after 1 or 2 tries that they do, they leave it as empty or vacant space. As you know, another problem not for the city of Lezha, but for the whole Albania and maybe for the whole world is the pandemic, COVID-19. A lot of business are closed from the March till now. Some of them are open, but some of them are not open. And this is case not in Lezha, and we see it in Tirana and other city of Albania. Here are some examples from vacant space. Here is a vacant space in the first floor, and here is vacant space in the second floor. And when we went to Lezha to see and to choose the cases, we see, for example, here is for rent, and sometimes for sale. So this is a main road, and this is not occupied. And here are some other cases. This is inside the neighborhood, not in the main road. And we can see here that a lot of spaces here and here are vacant. This is a new building, and this is not a new building, but here we can write these spaces to sell. And I can collect some demographic information about the city of Lezha and the region of Lezha. The region of Lezha is the municipality of Lezha, the territory of municipality of Lezha, and in 2018 it has this number of 127 and 910 inhabitants, and in the population of Lezha in 2090 was 31,779 inhabitants. And the number of families in the city of Lezha is 9,836 families. Another important element for architect and urban planner, of course, is the unemployment. The rate of unemployment in Lezha is higher, 19.2%. And another information, and I think I have chosen this information for city of Lezha, is the group of the population. So I have divided it from 0 to 14 years. So these are usually the pupils, and 15 to 75 years, and this is the age in which the people can work. And after 75 years, this is the age of people in retire. And I think that it is a good information in the time that we want to study and to have some provision about the vacant space and the uses of the spaces and the uses of the buildings in a city, and in this case in the city of Lezha. Usually in Albania, the women that has small children go to work. They can stay in home by the law only 1 year. Mm-hmm. But in the most of the cases, they cannot stay in home 1 year. They stay maximum 7 months. And after 7 months, they went to work. Mm-hmm. And the reason maybe is that the salary of one person is not so higher to cover the expensive life of the family. Mm-hmm. So we can, in Albania, a family with 3 or 4 people is difficult to live with the salary of one person. Mm-hmm. So usually the women go to work sometime after 6 or in maximum 1 year. And it is true that some of people live in the agricultural land, but this rate is for the city of Lezha and not for the municipality. In the municipality, a lot of people are people who work in the agricultural land, but in the city, most of the people have not a land who can work. And This is the economic sector in the municipality of Lezha. There are three activities in the municipality. Now we are speaking for municipality, not for the city of Lezha. And industrial activities, agricultural activities, cultural and touristic activities. Industrial activities are some factories, for example, show factory, cement factory, brick factory, fish processing factory, marble processing, oil deposit, quarries, and inert processing. These are the industrial, as I say, activities in the city of Lezha. But an important sector of the economy of this municipality, and not for the municipality of Lezha, but for the most of the municipalities of Albania, is trade and services. And a lot of activities and a lot of people work on the trade and the services inside the city. Not for this activity usually is applied in the municipality more than in the city, more than the whole municipality. Agricultural activities, about 70% of the population lives in the village, and so they work in the fields in the agricultural land. Another problem and another aspect is cultural and touristic activities. Lezha, as a municipality, has a lot of buildings with historical and architectural values, and for the tourists to see and to visit them, Lezha has the beach, is the Shëngjin and another beach part of the Adriatic Sea, and people from other part of Albania or from the outside of Albania will come and spend time in the beach, or there are natural features, the parks, where people will come and spend 1 and more days in the city of Lezha, or in the municipality of Lezha, better than in city of Lezha. And now I am focused on the 2 cases that we have chosen in the city of Lezha. There are 2 case studies. One is here and another is here. The one is the public space. We have chosen 2 different ownership models. One is a public and the other is a private model. Here is a former IDAJET Lezha GYMNASIUM. Is former because it's in a reconstruction. And another space is a building, high 8-floor buildings with first floor vacant space. This zone is zone, as you can remember for the second slide, is a zone with collective buildings, high buildings, more dense zone than the other part. And from the map, we can see here that this zone are with individual buildings and with low density. And the same thing we can say then for the other. This is more dense than this zone, but compared with that, this is not a dense zone. So the number of population in this zone is 10,450 inhabitants, approximately, in this zone. We have collected this number of information for the population from the General Regulation Plan. In the General Regulation Plan, the city is divided in small units, and we have calculated the number of population for each of these units. And here is the road system of the city of Lezha, and in this part in which we have chosen 2 zones. This road with the white are roads provisioned by the General Regulation Plan of the city of Lezha, and we can see from here that the case one has road in the south part, and the west part is another road. This is more important for the city because link these 2 points, and this is another road here in this direction in the west part of the this building. Now this road is comes till here, not anymore, but in the regulation plan these roads come from this point to this point, so it continues from here to link with this other part. And then another case is the buildings, and in this building here is an important road of the residential zone, and now this road is not in a good condition. This in existing situation is in the good condition, but in the regulation plan, the provision of the regulation plan, this road will be improved. And here is the land use of the plan and what the general plan provision for the 2 sides. One side is here, and it is zone, is a school zones. The main use of this zone is school, but there are some houses and some other uses, offices and administrative function in this zone. And the other is a residential zone, is here. So the uses of the territory in which these buildings are residential and mixed residential and schools, and here are the explains. And we can see some more detailed information about the vacant space 1, and this is the former, and this is the building or gymnasium. Here is the buildings. And here is a road and existing roads, and here is an existing roads, and as the regulation plan proposed, this road will continue and connect with the other roads. There are 16 inhabitants in these units, and the boundary of the units are this. We have taken the consideration the boundary of the units because from for each of these units we can collect a lot of information, exact information collected by the people who had worked for the regulation plan. And the number of the users is 580. And usually and mainly these are pupils of the schools. This building is the school, and this building now in construction is the school. And in the zone around this unit, so the population in these units around this, the population is 1,300 inhabitants and 2,700 users. Because, and in the sites around, for example, this is residential zone, this is residential zone, but these are mixed zone, and the number of users is sometimes higher than the number of residents. And about the regulation plan, we can say the provision of the regulation or the foreseen of the regulation plan for this zone is education and residential. So we can continue to have the same use that he have, but the regulation plan foreseen the increase of the intensity, increase of the number of the population and increase the number of the users in this zone. Here is another information about the zone. Here are services near this is the building, and these are all the other services. And so here are bar, restaurant, markets, pharmacy, dentist, sports fields. Here, cult object buildings, barber, hairdress, mobile services travel agency around the city. So these are the uses around these sites. Here is some view of the buildings, view from the main road. And this is the view from the western road. This is the road which continues till now until here. And according to the regulation plan, this road will continue in the future till the other road, to connect with the other road. And this is the plot in which the space is located. So this is the road continues till now, till this, and here is the building. Here is another school buildings, and here is the space, free space, open space. This, as I explained, this road, this building is in reconstruction, and the vacant space in the first floor of this building, a part of this building is used as entrance of the school, but another part is not used, is vacant space. The physical condition of the building is good, is now in reconstruction, and the condition will be better than now, and has a good access from the road that passed near this road, this building. And here are interior of the vacant space. This is in the first floor, this is in the second floor of the building. And here is in the first floor of the building. In school, but now is in reconstruction because improve the windows, the doors, and some, not the construction in the total, but or the terrace, because sometimes they are not building good condition of constructing good condition, and now they are doing some improvement of the building, not reconstruction, destroyed and rebuild again, but to do some improvement of the condition, for example, air condition or etc. So to create more comfortable condition for the pupils. This is a vacant space too. And this is the zone, the sites, and here is the units in which it is settled in the units provisioned by the general regulation plan. And in this unit there are 415 inhabitants and 518 users. Sorry, this is the first is not correct. The first, here are 2,000. The first 2,000 and yes, 2,200 inhabitants in the zone around it, because there are all these zones are most residential zone, but there are services and other activities, and 1,060 users in these zones. Usually the main use of the zone is residential, and according to the regulation plan, the main use of this zone will be the residential, and another uses will be residential recreation facility, services, health institution. So if we want to have some other activities or some other function, it is a provision to allow by the regulation plan. And here is the plot. And here is the zone around this plot and the other activities. The activities are coffee bar, restaurant, market, pharmacy, dentist, sport fields, because there are some sport fields, school buildings, object, and mobile services. Photographer is one here, photographer, and electricity equipments for homes, etc. So these are the activities and functions and services around this plot. And this is the building. So we can see the road. It is a good road and it is reconstructed. This is a new building. And this is the space, vacant space in the building. And we can see again here the vacant space. And we can see again from the other photos, vacant space is this part of the building and this part here in the edge. So this is behind the front of the, here is the square, the road, and here is the neighborhood, inside the neighborhood. This is closed, maybe people can use as a park or as another activities, but it is closed and somebody take care of this space. And the same thing and for that here. So we can see here the spaces, here is the square. And in this photo, here is the square and this is in the back sides of the buildings. So a part of the first floor of the building is used, is occupied, and a part of the first floor is not occupied, is vacant space. And here are some photos of vacant space.